Hey guys, it's Nhaaga, and I'm back for my first part of the Sims 4 Let's Play, and that's what I'm calling it. It's not necessarily a Generations Let's Play or anything else. It is just kind of my Sims 4 Let's Play. So, this part's gonna be pretty simple and pretty slow, pretty quick. Because I'm just going to give you a backstory on basically what's already happened with these Sims. I've been playing them for. Sorry, I don't know if that's too loud. I've been playing them for about a month now, so there's kind of already a backstory, and I think maybe that's good because I feel like Let's Plays can get hard if you have to do a lot, to get up to a certain point. So basically, I'm just going to go over all the characters, what's happened already, and, kind of my thoughts on what I'm thinking. So this is Sasha, and she is the mother of these two little ones right here. This is Avery and Alec. So basically, what happened with her is she was married to Jeremiah, who actually, I don't know if he's out and about. Right here. How convenient. This is Jeremiah, and this is actually her ex husband. So, Jeremiah is a very impatient, a very just kind of strict, he's just not a patient sim, basically. And so, Avery, if you look at her traits, I mean, that's kind of good for both of them, or for both things, right? Because it's just she has really good manners, really good responsibility because he taught her that. But you can see she's not good at emotional control. It's definitely what she's not good at, and that's because her dad, Jeremiah, didn't know how to teach her that because he really doesn't have that himself. And, so she's not very good with that, and she's kind of working on her empathy. I think she learns how to be empathetic because of her mom, Sasha, because Sasha is definitely more nurturing. She's more soft, she's patient. So when she parents them, she's, no punishment. She doesn't yell at them. She just tries to like hug it out basically, whereas Jeremiah would just punish them. He would yell at them. That was just like his first action basically. So Avery hasn't really learned a lot of these traits, character values, I guess as they're called, because of that, and that's been hard for her. So basically, what happened is Jeremiah started cheating with the next door neighbor here. And ended up getting her pregnant. So once Sasha found out, she was not going to put up with that. So she immediately divorced him. And that was a really hard decision for her because she was a stay at home mom. She didn't have any kind of career. She does have like a really high baking skill. So she was doing like a little stand on the side to make money, but really wasn't making that much money having two kids. She really just didn't have the time to bake all those goods and try to sell them in San Myshuno. So she eventually went into the social media career, and I imagine her being the type of social media blogger who's the mom, who's the fitness, health mom basically, and she shares a lot of her experience on, what it's been like to raise her two kids kind of by herself and what it's like to raise, another child, which I'll get to in just a second. And, she's gained a lot of popularity from that, and she's done really well for herself because of that. And I think, that was the best thing that could have happened to her to make her a little more independent, because when she was married to Jeremiah, she was pretty like helpless. She didn't do a lot for herself. He really wouldn't let her parent, so she really didn't do it that often. And so I think this has been the best for her, is figuring out, herself and being more independent, and having that being shown to her kids that she can be. So that's kind of her. And kind of on to, Pace. So this is Pace, and he's at work right now. But he's a pro athlete. But he is a very similar personality to Sasha. He's very nurturing. He's super calm and patient. That's just the type of guy he is. And he does have a daughter, Tanasha, who, her mom walked out on her when she was, I imagine, just a toddler. And I think the way that I think about it is her mom walked out on her probably because I imagine her mom to be the kind of person that didn't like Pace's personality. She wanted a real man in quotation, right? Like that's what she thinks, that his nice personality, his nurturing personality made him not manly, which is definitely not true, but that's how she felt. So she wanted to be with a real man, and she basically left him because of that and didn't care about taking Tanasha with her. So I think because of that, Pace really, wanted to try to nurture Tanasha as much as possible so that she didn't feel like she was alone. She didn't, he just wanted to keep her safe from everything. But because of this, her character values are not very good. She's somewhat responsible, which is great, pretty responsible actually, but you can see she has really low emotional control, bad empathy, not so good with emotional resolution, and she's mean, and she basically got everything and anything she wanted. And because Pace never disciplined her. And so, she really became daddy's little girl. And he doesn't really know how to handle that. So, as a result of this, she's not very nice to poor little Avery here. And Avery, because she is not very good with emotional control, she gets picked on by Tanasha. And she doesn't really know how to deal with this, and they're actually enemies because sometimes Avery will fight back and sometimes Avery doesn't know what to do about it. And it will be interesting to see if, once they hit their teens, if they ever will get along, but I really feel like they're always going to have some kind of sibling rivalry, cool, Natalie. They're always going to have a sibling rival, basically. They're always going to fight. And so it'll be interesting, though, to see what that's like. Oh, just coming to greet her dad. So sweet. So, but it's kind of one of those things where, it's going to be tough for both Pace and Sasha because they're that same sort of parent style. How are they going to raise these two girls to have good character values when they're fighting? It's especially hard for, I think, Sasha to be in this situation because it's her own daughter who's getting basically bullied by, her stepsister to be, I guess. But she also wants to have a good relationship with Tanasha because Tanasha's never had a mom. And so I think that's going to be something that her and Pace are going to have to discover together is what kind of parent are they going to be and how can they do the best thing for their children. So, kind of talking a little bit about Alec here. So his when his dad left, he was just a little toddler. So he really doesn't have a good relationship with him anyways. Very close with his mom, and his character values are not very developed. And I kind of did that on purpose because the way that I see his character is, you can see he's very well manicured and put together, and I think it's because he's really trying to discover himself as a person right now, and he wants to figure out who he is. And I really want to explore him being transgender. I haven't really been able to explore that in The Sims. I've been wanting to find the right sim, with the right story, and I really feel like that's his meant to be. Basically, that's his story. And I think this is going to be a struggle for him because I haven't really decided if Sasha and Pace are going to be okay with this. Like, how are they going to react to this? They're freaking being loud. Let's go. Pound on the door. Definitely, Alec's real dad, Jeremiah, is not going to react well to that. He's going to be very disapproving. He's going to think it's very wrong. And so it's going to be really hard for him to to go through that. And so I'm really excited to explore that with him. But I really think he's going to be so much happier once he really discovers himself. So that's what we're going to be kind of discovering with him throughout the LP. And kind of back to Sasha, obviously you can tell she's pregnant. So she is pregnant with Pace's kid, baby. And this was a planned pregnancy. So, you know, they're not married, they're not engaged. This is very awkward. I mean, this is her ex-husband, right? So, of course, he does not have a good relationship with him. I mean, he just doesn't like him. But anyways, so, you know, they're not married, they're not engaged. And I think Sasha's actually okay with that. I mean, they planned this pregnancy, right? And I think for her, she feels like this is enough. Enough of the relationship. Like, she feels like he's actually committed. But for Pace, he doesn't really, that's not enough for him. Like, he wants to get married. He wants to propose to her, and I think he will. And it's going to be interesting how she handles that, because I think she has a little anxiety for getting married since she had such a terrible marriage. So, you know, she's definitely not expecting this proposal that will happen eventually. And, you know, I'm not sure how she'll react to it yet. But, you know, that's basically all of them. And, you know, we're definitely going to have to move out of this apartment pretty soon. I do have an apartment that I've already created. He always sits here and sings, and it drives me insane. So we're gonna like put the walls up, so maybe he'll shut up. But anyway, so I've already created an apartment in the city, but I don't know if they'll be able to afford it. One thing that I've done in this kind of let's play, I guess, on my own, is that I've been pretty realistic with their money. You know, when it was Jeremiah and Sasha living together, when they were married and had Avery just as a toddler, they had a very small apartment. So everything you see in here was brought from their old apartment, besides a few things, but mostly everything was. And so there is new furniture and everything in their newer apartment, because it's a different style. Now that her and Pace are kind of putting both of their styles together, it's a lot more sporty. She's obviously getting into more of a fitness, I should say, because she is a fitness mom blogger, basically. So it is more of that, but I think we're going to have to sell a few things because I don't think they'll be able to afford it. So, but we'll look at that later in the LP. She's still not due for 2 days. And I do have a mod that makes it a longer pregnancy. So I think once she gets to her 3rd trimester, I think she has another 2 or 3 days on top of that. Might even be 4. So, but it's going to come up pretty soon. So we're going to have to figure that out because we're definitely running out of space. So, I mean, that's basically their backstory. And, you know, like I said earlier in the video, I'm not directing this towards any specific things. Like, this isn't necessarily a Generations LP. This is not any other kind of challenge LP. It's just kind of what I want it to be. I just want to explore it. I don't want to have to stick to any rules or anything like that. So my plan is to, you know, whatever sim that we're most attached to, will continue their story. And, you know, get them jobs and careers and find them a family and discover them a little bit more in detail. Obviously when we come to that point, we'll have to kind of figure out which direction we want to go with one of these sims. But I mean, that's basically it for this part. It's pretty just an introductory overview of this, but I definitely want to hear, you know, throughout these different parts, what your guys' thoughts are. I want to hear earthquake. I want to hear what direction you guys think this LP should go and some of your thoughts, because it, you know, it definitely is cool when you can get different people's perspectives on, you know, what they see for an LP. So check out or keep an eye out for my next part, basically, and I'll just see you guys in the next part.